Portions of the following program may have been pre-recorded.
The following programs, views, claims, or ideas may not reflect those of WSRR Radio or WSRRradio.com. Viewer discretion is advised.
And now, we take you behind enemy lines with Lucas DeRazio and Dom Ferro on WSRR Radio.
All Browns fans will go to heaven where football season's never ending. The leaves have changed, smell it in the air. Where every morning is a Sunday morning, the grill is firing and the drinks are pouring. All Browns fans will go to heaven and our motel can go to hell.
Welcome to another episode of Behind Enemy Lines right here on WSRR Radio, nationally local, meaning we play your local bands on a national stage, coast to coast. It is Friday, August 14th at 10 o'clock in the morning. Probably just got to work, turning on some WSRR Radio, some Cleveland sports talk from Pittsburgh and now Philadelphia. Thank you guys for joining us here on WSRR Radio. I'm Lucas DeRazio, joined as always by Dom Ferro. We are recording on Wednesday, August 12th at 1:47 p.m. And Dom, the wait is over. We finally have preseason football this weekend. We finally have some football to watch, and I know it's preseason, but there's still some interesting storylines. Every team has a couple of things that people want to see in those 3 preseason games. I'm fired up. I get to watch football this weekend, whether it's preseason, whether it matters or not. I'm going to be tuned in as much as I can just because of that football withdrawal. I don't know about you, but I'm fired up for this weekend. And I'm ready to see some guys out there trying to earn a roster spot. Like, these are the guys who really have a love of the game. They're out there. They're trying to put food on the table in these games. They're playing like the rent is due because it is. Dom, are you excited for preseason football in the NFL this weekend?
I am excited. I've been excited. The Hall of Fame game delivered. Probably the greatest Hall of Fame game ever. A walk-off win. You just don't see that type of action in a Hall of Fame game usually. Just football is back in the biggest way possible. Tonight, Thursday, we've got like 6 games. The Steelers playing the Packers at home. Acrisure Stadium will be back and buzzing like it's supposed to be. There's going to be a buzz in the air. You're going to feel it. So, yeah, of course I'm excited. I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of guys that, like you said, are maybe getting their only shot or opportunity. So you're going to definitely see some action here.
What a tease that was, the Hall of Fame game, because like I turned that on last Thursday and I was all fired up. I got to watch Carson Beck and Haynes King go to battle. It was good. It was a good game to see, and like you said, it was probably the best Hall of Fame game of all time. A walk-off winner from Haynes King, the Georgia Tech legend. So that was fun to see. But like what a tease that was, where like that was on a Thursday. Then I was sitting around on the weekend and I was just like, I wish there was football on to watch right now, even if it was preseason game. Like I would love to turn that on. I woke up on Sunday with not a single thing to do. Didn't have to go visit any family like I have been on a couple other weekends. Just moved to Philly in the last month, like I said. So like I didn't have a single, like, I don't have any friends here to hang out with yet. I don't have any extracurricular activities. I woke up at 9, I went to the gym, and I was like, how great would it be to be gearing up for a 1 o'clock kickoff right now? Like, that 1 o'clock slate is going to hit like crack in a couple of weeks. Like, I cannot wait at all. But, that was like such a total tease for it. But I'm excited for this weekend.
Would have done anything for like a London 9 a.m. game.
Yeah, oh my
Sunday.
God.
Good
Good
needed
Lord.
that. Just one game, and then give me the full slate at 1 p.m. I can't wait.
It feels like I'm sure that the teams that are in it are glad they get to do it because they get an extra preseason game. But like, why don't they just do the Hall of Fame game like on the first week of the preseason? Like, why do they have it on a Thursday and then it's a week before anyone else plays? Like, why don't they just have the Hall of Fame game Wednesday night before all the other preseason games or something like that? I really don't understand the scheduling of the preseason around the Hall of Fame. Like, why do 2 teams get an extra preseason game?
Yeah, and you think that they'd actually be happy they get an extra preseason game? I feel like maybe the coaches are happy, but the players? You think they're, I mean, maybe like the guys who are fighting for roster spots.
I was going to say the guys who it matters to, I think it does, like, I think they're happy. Like, I think, like, Carson Beck for the Cardinals, like, there's no reason that he wouldn't be happy. Haynes King for the Panthers, you know what I mean? Like, these are reps, especially for quarterbacks, because, like, you know, receivers and stuff, if you make the roster, like, there's a good chance that at some point in the season, if you're on the roster, you're going to get some playing time during the season. Like, even if it is, you know, garbage time, or if it's, you know, late in the season when you're 2-10, like if you're on the roster at a skill position or offensive line or defensive line, you know, like any other position except for quarterback, it's a high percentage that you're going to find the field at some point, kind of, if you're on that final 53. But like, there's a lot of quarterbacks who, like, their only time to play is the preseason, and like Carson Beck and Haynes King just got an extra 40 snaps as NFL quarterbacks. Like, there's no reason they shouldn't be thrilled about that.
Yeah, both of them played real well. Should be fighting for their job. Speaking of quarterbacks who we're going to be seeing this preseason, Will Howard was drafted by the Steelers, not this past draft, but the year prior. This will be the first time we're going to see him play in the NFL because he got hurt. So this is a huge opportunity for him in a loaded quarterback room.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Like, you look at those quarterback reps in the preseason and how important they are, and like that just really shows how unfortunate it was for Will Howard and for the Steelers organization that they didn't get to see him last year in those 3 preseason games. So it's going to be a really pivotal performance this Thursday for him against the Packers. I think that's a great segue into what we're going to be talking about today. Even though the preseason, a lot of people say like, oh, only sickos watch in the fourth quarter and things like that. Like, there's some things you want to see in the preseason and some guys that you want to see mostly at the quarterback position. But that's kind of going to be our conversation today, is guys that we're excited to see in the preseason who could end up finding spots on teams and, you know, really playing. Again, mostly these are quarterbacks, but like you mentioned the first one that was on the top of my mind, Will Howard. It's going to be his second year. Didn't get to see any playing time last year, not even in the preseason, because he broke his hand, I think it was, correct?
Yeah, I believe that was the injury.
Yeah, so he gets, he finally gets out there and gets some NFL snaps. But of course, like you said, crowded QB room, 2 different Big Ten quarterbacks in there, him and now Drew Aller, however you want to say his last name, the Cleveland native, going to be in the Steelers room. So 16 and 18 are kind of going to be, it'll be an interesting battling out. Who's going to be starting on Thursday? I know that this comes out after that preseason game, but is Will Howard starting, or is Aller getting the start?
That is actually a really good question. I should know the answer to that. I gotta figure that out. Let me search real quick.
You're a lot more on the Steelers side.
They haven't announced yet. Okay, I knew I would have.
Okay. On Wednesday afternoon,
I think the plan is
still
Rudolph,
haven't announced. Oh, okay, Rudolph's getting the start. All right, like does Mason Rudolph really even need to like start? Like they know what they have in Mason Rudolph, right?
I think so, but it'd be nice to see him play a drive, maybe even the first quarter. We got time to see Drew Aller. We got time to see Will Howard. I think Drew Aller, though, I think he's going to be the guy who will be more of a spectacle in preseason. I think Will Howard, like at the end of the game, you'll look at the box score and be like, yeah, he was really efficient. This is a guy who could win games. But I think Drew Aller, he's going to be the guy who you're going to see clips of on Twitter. He's going to show his massive arm. He's going to show his speed. So I think Drew Aller has a chance to really shine in preseason. So I'm excited to see him. But yeah, Mason Rudolph, we know what we got.
That brings me to the question I was going to ask. You're more on the side of Steelers Twitter and Instagram and things like that. Like, I've heard that there's some good clips of Aller coming out of training camp of him chucking 80-yard bombs down to Pittman and DK. Like, is that moving the needle at all for Steelers Twitter?
I mean, I think so. I think it's kind of split right now. I don't think anyone. I mean, obviously you have guys who are committed to whoever. Like we talked to people at the draft who are 100% committed to Will Howard, and then of course you got the Penn State guys who are going to ride with Drew Aller. I'm an Aaron Rodgers guy. I'm riding with the guy we got that is going to be running this whole team.
Of course, but you're looking towards the future. Like who are you leaning towards? Of course, I feel like with the Ohio State connection, I have a slight connection to Will Howard, as well as, Aller's a Cleveland guy. Like I said, I have a little bit of a connection to him. I think it's a throwback to this past January when we had my bachelor trip skiing in New York, and you gave me my Christmas gift from you was an Ohio State heritage stripe Will Howard jersey signed by Will Howard, and I wore that skiing. I got a lot of people out there being like, "Oh, Will Howard. I'd love to see him playing for the Steelers this year, man. I would love to see Howard out there." So, and like you said, a lot of people on draft day when we were there down on the North Shore of Pittsburgh, interviewing a lot of Steelers fans, everyone was riding with Will Howard. I want to know, like, what's your take though? You're not a huge Penn State guy. I feel like you're pretty bipartisan on like the connections of these two guys. Like, what are you thinking right now, whether it's between Howard or Aller?
Well, I mean, you just need to think about the last time that you saw these guys. The last time you saw Drew Aller, he was on a struggling Penn State team. He was injured. The last time we saw Will Howard, he was winning a national championship. So for that reason, you have to give Will Howard a fair chance, just for that. The reason that he's been so successful, he's been able to be a game manager. He doesn't have to do anything special because this we have the talent around him if he becomes the guy. But Drew Aller, that's the guy who has all the upside in the world. So for that reason, that's another guy you can't just not give him a fair chance. So I'm really conflicted, because I see the potential with both of these guys, and I think there's a chance one of them could be the guy, but we just need to find out, and this preseason is going to be massive in figuring that out.
As much as I want to like side for Will Howard in that like, yeah, he won a national championship, like he can lead, he's a good leader. I watched the Gruden QB camps of him going into the draft, and I was high on him. I kind of wanted the Browns to take him a little bit last year. But you kind of can't really use that as an argument for him, in all honesty, because like you look at the Ohio State team that they had, it's like they probably had a more talented roster on offense than the Steelers do this year. I mean, they had Judkins and Henderson. They had two NFL backs there. They had Emeka Egbuka and Jeremiah Smith. Like they had all types of. They had Max Clare. It's actually no, Max Clare wasn't there yet at tight end. Was he? I forget the tight end, but like they had all types of guys who were just like NFL guys all over the field. So, I mean, I do think that there's still like a talent to do that, to distribute the ball to your guys and do what you have to do. But it is, a challenge to not put that in your mind when you're making this decision. But you do have to kind of think about what was around him. Also, they had an amazing defense. The Buckeyes that year were an NFL team. So
and who did Drew Aller have? Like, you could name one guy.
That's also true.
Probably Tyler Warren, and then also he had James Franklin as his head coach for 99% of his career, which is a notorious big game choker. So like he may have not been in the best situation. He's with Mike McCarthy, the QB whisperer. If he can get through to this guy and get him past like the hump of just making better reads, really, like he can be like a true NFL star, I think.
All right. Well, I like the confidence that you have in your guys. That'll be definitely an interesting QB battle for that like second and really third spot this year. I mean, there's a possibility that one of these guys doesn't even make the roster, considering they do have Mason Rudolph, who they seem to trust as their backup. One of these guys could be on the practice squad for much of the season. So that'll be an interesting one to watch in Pittsburgh. Other quarterbacks that we're interested to watch this season, though, in the preseason, I'm looking at games that are taking place this Thursday. Colts versus the Patriots. Anthony Richardson is the Colts' backup right now behind Daniel Jones. Like this is a first round pick a couple years ago, who's going to be playing a lot of snaps in the preseason because it's not very likely, you know what I mean? Like he still has a lot to prove. I think he's an interesting like project to watch because he did have all the tools in the world coming into his NFL career. It obviously hasn't really worked out for him thus far, but like, is Daniel Jones the long-term answer in Indianapolis? We don't really know. Like, what if Anthony Richardson has a lot to show here. Can he stay healthy? Can he, Does he still have the arm talent that he has had in the last couple years? Can he make it happen? So Anthony Richardson's another guy I would love to watch in this preseason. He'll be a fun. He's another guy that you might just see a couple clips of, where it's like this guy, like he is a athletic freak. We can't forget that.
Anthony Richardson might be like number one on my must-watch list for preseason, because I think a lot of people have forgotten that he requested a trade last year, and that trade request is still in place. He's starting against the Patriots on Thursday, so this is like a trade showcase. Like, he's going to be trying to show like what he's got to the NFL. So he's not going to be holding back at all in this game. So yeah, I think this is a guy must watch. Number 4 overall pick, and what draft was that? 2023. The talent obviously was there. The signs of being a bust were also there the whole time, but athletic freak, incredibly large, incredibly big arm. He's made some throws that we just haven't seen in the NFL. So I'd like to see him get another chance in the NFL. I don't know if he will get one, but it's going to be fun to watch him in preseason. That's for sure.
Another game that's going on Thursday is the Cardinals and Raiders, where I would assume that Fernando Mendoza is going to be making his NFL debut. I don't know if he'll play a ton. He'll probably be a first quarter guy at most, especially in the first preseason game. I feel like usually like the second preseason game is where like you get the guys that you have a lot riding on for their future and stuff. You get to see them the most. The first one, they're still kind of feeling out things. They don't want to put him out there, get him hurt. The second one, they're more in the groove. And then the third one, it's like, all right, let's, give these guys who are really fighting for those last roster spots a chance and get ready for the regular season. But Mendoza against the Cardinals, him against Carson Beck, that'll be a little national championship rematch in Las Vegas. So that'll be a fun one to see. Are you excited to watch Mendoza at all? Mendoza versus Beck?
Yeah, I'm definitely excited. More excited to see Mendoza for sure, because I think there's like a real quarterback battle. That's what I've heard. Mendoza's been in the lab just grinding. So I expect to see him looking NFL ready in these preseason games. I don't think he's going to struggle too much. I don't think it's going to be anything flashy. They're going to, I don't think he's going to be doing too much, but I think he's still going to get plenty of reps during the preseason. It'll be fun to see what Mendoza can do. The big thing out of Las Vegas, though, Kirk Cousins fighting.
Oh yeah, I love
in the locker room.
You sent
Cousins
me this
fighting
tweet
with Max
in the
Crosby.
week.
Yeah, they got into a scuffle after practice or something. There wasn't a whole lot more.
I don't think I think it was during practice, was it not? I thought it was a little on the field tussle.
His
little run-in with the defensive end and the $1 million man himself.
During training camp practice this past Friday, Max Crosby hit Kirk Cousins twice. Cousins got into Crosby's face, grabbing his jersey while both exchanged words before it was broken up. And then they got held out of practice the next practice. So there was some repercussions there, but you love to see the passion.
They got put in timeout. That's awesome.
At first, I thought it was going to be a bigger deal. I think if it was outside of practice, it would have been. But during practice, you love to see the passion from both of your veteran leaders on this team. I think it's not a bad sign.
That's the nature of the beast. And yeah, I do think that's a good thing. And I think that these guys both are also like professionals to where like they can what's the word I'm looking for? Tussle a little bit in practice and get mixed up with each other and still like set it aside and be like, hey, you're the leader of the defense. I'm the leader of the offense. Like, we're still here for a common goal. I think these are kind of the two guys that you almost want to see like getting into it with each other to kind of like set the tone of like, hey, we're competing out here. This is a fiery environment. We're not here to just, collect a paycheck. We're here to try to win games, especially from, a guy at quarterback who it seems like he's there just to mentor the next guy in Mendoza. But like to be out there and be like, no, like F that. I'm here to win games. And like, you're not going to hit me because like I'm Kirk Cousins. You know how much money I make? Like, you know how many games I've won? You like that? You ever heard of that clip? Like, I can't hate on Kirk Cousins. Everything he does, like, there's something about it that's just so endearing to me. So when I saw this, I liked it. I don't know how you felt about it, but I was a fan.
Yeah, at first I was like, oh boy, like this isn't good. But now that I've realized that happened during a practice setting, I think it's good. You love to see Cousins fully invested, and also Crosby, because he was a guy who wanted out, but to see him like still battling in training camp, it's good to see overall. I think me and you, we're both rooting for the Raiders this year. I don't think they're gonna win more than 5 or 6 games, but it would be great to see them pull off like an 8-9 win season and show that they're gonna be a team that no one wants to mess with in the future.
Yeah. Football is better when the Raiders are good. So like this is a team that I'm rooting for. I think Max Crosby is, because of the whole Ravens thing and the medical clearance and all that. I really think he's going to be coming into this year with a chip on his shoulder. I think we've mentioned that on this show before, but like he's going to be a guy to watch, even though they might not win a ton of games. Like he's gonna get his no matter what. You've seen that really throughout his career, even in college. I mean, he was on a mid-tier MAC team in Eastern Michigan, and he always, still got his stats up. Stick with us here on Behind Enemy Lines. Don't turn that dial. Don't turn away from WSRR Radio. Be right back after these short messages.
Based out of Chicago, Synergy Music Studio is built for artists who care about the sound of their music. From recording, mixing, and mastering to full production and live studio sessions, Synergy works hands-on to help artists turn ideas into finished professional releases. They support the Chicago scene and they welcome new artists anytime. If you're serious about your sound, start at synergymusicstudio.com today.
Nobody cares about the details, seriously. Not the logo, not the stitching, and not the tiny symbol that magically doubles the price of the t-shirt. Think about it. The shirt you're wearing right now and the one I'm wearing do the exact same job. They cover us, they keep us warm, and they stop us from being arrested for public indecency. The only difference is a swoosh, a rectangle, or a name that convinced you it was worth more money. That's where GenericClothes.com comes in. They skip the branding nonsense and get straight to the point. Shirts that literally say what they are. Sports team, political statement, music band. No hype, no pretending, just honesty and a sense of humor at the expense of big clothing brands. If you're tired of paying extra for a logo that nobody actually cares about, or you want the perfect gift for someone who actually gets the joke, head to GenericClothes.com. Nobody cares about the details. Get to the point.
Calling it like they see it. Lucas and Dom are back on WSRR Radio.
Welcome back to Behind Enemy Lines right here on WSRR Radio as we gear up for the NFL preseason this weekend. We couldn't do it without YourBuddiesGarage.com. Your Buddies Garage sells a selection of salvaged, used, and scrapped auto parts and accessories, perfect for a quick fix or the first stop before the shop. Before you pay a pro, see what your buddies got at YourBuddiesGarage.com. Your Buddies Garage, thank you guys so much for being a consummate supporter of this team over here at Behind Enemy Lines and this station, WSRR Radio. Dom, we're getting geared up for the NFL preseason this weekend, week 1, and we're talking about who we most want to see. Mostly quarterbacks on this list, but there are some other guys in here that we want to see. But quarterbacks start, obviously it's the most important position in football, so we got to talk about the quarterbacks. I talked about Anthony Richardson going up against the Patriots a little bit earlier. They'll be playing on Thursday night. You know who the Patriots backup is? Do you know off the top of your head? Who's going to be seeing some preseason football?
Let me guess. It's not Josh Dobbs, is it?
No, Josh Dobbs not on a team, which actually did surprise me a lot.
Really?
It's the passing paisan, Tommy DeVito. Another guy we're going to be excited to watch in the preseason. I don't think he'll have much time to, I don't know how much he'll actually be contributing towards the Patriots season, but he's just fun to watch because, he's Tommy DeVito. Maybe we'll go look up in the stands, see his agent.
His agent?
That guy's awesome. That guy's spectacular.
That guy kind of rules.
On Friday, the Buccaneers play the Jets in New York, really in New Jersey, but the Jets have a guy who I think is really interesting to see this preseason in Cade Klubnik, because the Jets are so bad that I think it's pretty much a sure thing that at some point, especially after all these reports are coming out of training camp, that Geno Smith has just looked terrible. And again, I don't think they're good at all. So like, I don't think it's completely on him, but like, apparently he's just looked very, very bad. But I think it's a pretty sure thing. Like, if you had to put money on it, if I could put money on it, which you maybe can somewhere, but like, I would say that Cade Klubnik is going to start a game this year for the New York Jets. So I think that this is going to be an interesting one to see, just to be like, you know, this is a guy who had a very successful career at Clemson up until his senior season. And then, you know, they had a terrible year last year, but I don't think there's any reason that like he can't at least get an opportunity this year, unless he looks really, really bad on Friday and throughout the rest of the preseason.
Yeah, he'd have to perform real bad in preseason. Geno Smith, though, haven't been hearing anything good out of preseason about him. Klubnik, though, like, not as bad as the Jets are in the organization. People say it's like a horrible spot to be. Could be a lot worse. Breece Hall, you might say he's overrated, but it's still like a reliable option in the backfield. Garrett Wilson, he's a guy that you got to free Garrett Wilson at some point. He needs to have a guy to throw to him.
I feel like
Klubnik could be the guy.
Right now, that seems to be like the theme for Ohio State receivers. Like, Ohio State is wide receiver U, but like all of their, like, or not all of them, but a lot of their receivers are like trapped on terrible teams. Like Chris Olave, the Saints season's looking up a little bit this year, but like Chris Olave, the rest of his career, it seems like he's been playing for nothing, and he's been making amazing catches for a team that's terrible. Garrett Wilson, you know, he had a chance there with Rodgers, all that hype that went into the season that Rodgers signed with the Jets. You know, that there was at least they had that summer. Jets fans did, when they did that hard knock on the Jets, and everyone was like, the Jets are a Super Bowl contender. So at least Garrett Wilson had that. But like him, Marvin Harrison Jr., he's had his own rough spots and struggles, especially seems like he's had them this training camp. But like Cardinals, same thing, have not been good at all. And this is another first round pick at wide receiver from Ohio State. Like, I don't know what's up with that. What's up with that archetype, huh?
Yeah, it is a bit weird, because they aren't bad receivers. You could say Marvin Harrison Jr. isn't a good NFL receiver, but you can't say Garrett Wilson isn't, and I don't think you can say Olave isn't a good receiver.
No,
he's had a lot of injury issues. But Garrett Wilson, like Klubnik, this is the best option you could get for one of the best options you could get for your number one guy as a rookie.
Not to mention, I think that this is the first non-quarterback we're going to be mentioning that we're excited to see in the preseason. But the Jets rookie tight end out of Oregon, Kenyon Sadiq. I think that's a guy
the freak
who. There you go. I think like he's going to be he can be a huge option for this offense. So I don't really know if we're going to see a ton of him in preseason, because like I think he will be a guy who it's like, you know, he's going to be positively contributing for this team during the regular season. There's no reason to throw him out to the Wolves in preseason and possibly get hurt. But another like weapon for that Jets offense for Cade Klubnik to throw to.
Yeah, they're definitely guys, but the Jets, just being the Jets, I could see them going to like Brady Cook or Bailey Zappi before they go to Cade Klubnik. But if Klubnik performs really well in the preseason, there's no way you can turn that down. Then he's the next guy up. Geno Smith, though, I kind of agree. I'd be surprised if he's the quarterback for the entire
for
season.
17 games. I think that's another one you could put money on. The Dolphins are playing the Commanders. Quinn Ewers. It'll be interesting to see him entering year 2. I don't think the Dolphins are going to be playing for much this year. They got the big Malik Willis signing, but you know, just with the way that their record is probably going to go, we did the overs and unders for the 2026 season, and both of us said that the Dolphins are going to be under 4.5 wins. So I don't think that they're going to be playing for much. Why not put, you know, the young guy from Texas out there a couple games late in the season to you know, maybe show if you could maybe build something around him. He had some starts last year, I think, near the end of the season, and I don't think he showed anything amazing, but you know, a full offseason in an NFL locker room and meeting room, I think can do a lot of good for a guy. So Quinn Ewers is another guy on my list that'll be an interesting watch in preseason for the Dolphins.
Yeah, Quinn Ewers is an interesting one. I don't know if I can agree. I don't know if I'm super interested, just because, like you said, he played 4 games last year, didn't really show a whole lot. I don't know if 4 games is enough to really say enough about a guy, but if it is, it's enough to show that he's not a future starter in the league from what I'm seeing.
Quinn Ewers in 4 games threw 622 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions last year. Now he
got sacked 8 times.
He played in 4 games. One of those games was against the Browns, and he only had 8 attempts, so he didn't play that full game. He did get 1 win though. They beat the Buccaneers. He was 14 for 22, 172 yards, 2 touchdowns. So showed a little bit there. There's a little bit of potential in Ewers. This is a guy who was like the top quarterback coming out of high school. So he's definitely got some talent. But
there's something there, but like, what's he gonna do with this team? I'm looking at the Dolphins depth chart right now. Their top receivers listed: Malik Washington, Jalen Tolbert, Caleb Douglas, and their starting tight end Greg Dulcich. I mean, what are we doing here, Miami? Is this really what we're trying out with in 2026?
Yeah, it's going to be a rough year for Dolphins fans if there are any Dolphins fans. But Ewers, I think like with him and a lot of other guys, honestly, that I'm saying are like interesting to watch in the preseason. Like there are guys though that are probably going to be, competing for, career backup spots. And I think that Ewers is going to do that. I don't think Ewers is ever going to be a playoff caliber starting quarterback, but like looking at games like this, if he can show something, there's no reason that he can't make an NFL career out of, backing up a guy and coming into a couple situations and completing some passes. So I think that that's more of what's interesting to me. I don't think he's going to win a starting job, but why not? Why not mix it up out there and end up making a couple $1 million in career earnings out of sitting the bench? Another going to the next preseason game, Saturday, August 15th at 1 p.m., the Browns match up against the Bears in Chicago. Obviously, the quarterback controversy right now in Cleveland is interesting. I don't think we're going to see a ton of Deshaun Watson or Shedeur Sanders in this preseason game at the quarterback position, but why not see a little bit of Dylan Gabriel, maybe a little bit of Taylon Green? I think Taylon Green will be fun to watch. The guy, the rookie from Arkansas. This is a guy who people talked about. He could end up being the steal of the draft, an athletic freak at quarterback. So it'll be fun to watch him in a couple preseason games. Why not?
Yeah, I definitely want to see Taylon Green. Always been a fan of him ever since his Arkansas days.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm going to be
a big Woo Pig Suey guy.
I'm going to be tuning into that one. He hasn't had many opportunities from what I've seen in training camp with the Browns, which makes sense. There's a ton of other guys. You got to give Dylan Gabriel another chance just of where he was drafted. But Taylon Green just need to see enough for him to make the roster or practice squad, whatever. But yeah, he's another guy who might surprise some people, might take off for a big run or something.
I said this when he was initially drafted. I could very much so see him making the roster and like him being good enough and athletic enough to where they either cut Dylan Gabriel or try to trade him somewhere, put him on the practice squad, whatever. But he could be athletic enough where he can be a game changer, and like Todd Monken could put him in as, a Lamar Jackson type of threat. He obviously knows. He was the offensive coordinator for the Ravens for however many years with Lamar Jackson. Like he knows how to scheme up a quarterback run game. I wouldn't be surprised at all. I said this when he first got drafted. Like if the Browns find ways to get him in on packages and, and if he can show a little bit of like arm talent and can throw against an NFL defense, that just adds another layer into that when he comes in. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if they use him in some sort of wildcat, gadget position this year for Cleveland. So that's kind of more that's what I'm interested to see. If he can show enough to where they're saying he's worth a roster spot, if he can, like you said, bust off a couple of long runs, if it's a scramble or a design QB run, I think that'll be enough to be like, yeah, let's get him out there, and like, it'll be a good mix up look for teams that aren't expecting it.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a scary offense if he is like involved and successful, because he's a different type of quarterback. Just, you don't see many people built like him. He's similar to Anthony Richardson. But I mean, other people in the Browns, you got to be looking at Casey Concepcion and Denzel Boston, the two rookie receivers. Got to see who's the true alpha out of this class.
Oh, for sure. And I think I think Denzel Boston is going to be the wide guy. I think he'll be the X receiver, like kind of almost more go-to. I think Concepcion will play that slot, hopefully well. But yeah, I'm excited to see them out there as well. Maybe even a little bit of Joe Royer, the Cincinnati tight end. I think he'll get a lot of snaps because I don't think they're going to be throwing Fannin out there a ton. I think he did enough in his rookie year to show that, he's obviously the starting tight end, especially with Njoku leaving. And I don't think they're going to be, having him contribute too much in the preseason games. So I'm excited to see them as well on the offense, whether it's Taylon Green, Dillon Gabriel, or Deshaun or Shador throwing to them. It'll be fun to watch. I'll be tuned in because I got to watch the Browns.
Also, correct me if I'm wrong, but Isaiah Bond's first preseason.
That's right. Yeah, Isaiah Bond got signed last year after the preseason. I've seen some good stuff out of him in training camp. I've seen that he's made a couple of nice catches. He's a guy who I feel like has been kind of quiet. Like they've talked about Concepcion and they talked about Denzel Boston, but they really haven't talked about Bond as much. I almost actually have heard more about what's his name, the guy from the Ravens, who I talked about last week quickly. Tyrell Williams. I forget what his name is now. Tylan Wallace. There we go. I've actually heard more about him than I have about Isaiah Bond, but like I've seen some clips of Bond making nice plays, so he could be another X factor on this offense. He could be a deep threat.
Yeah, I think him having this time to ramp up, didn't get that last year as a rookie. I think missing that is probably pretty impactful. So
yeah.
Yeah, it should be good to see him get some more reps.
I think another thing that'll impact his play a lot this year is that he's switching from number 16 to 0, and I think that 0 is just going to look a lot better. He's going to feel a lot more comfortable, look good, feel good, play good, pay good, live good, live good, die good, and that's what it's all about, right?
0 is definitely an aura number.
I think he's got a little more aura going into the 2026 season, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Bond can contribute. Aura, also something that we hold here on WSRR Radio and this show Behind Enemy Lines. So stick with us through our last segment here to get as much aura as you possibly can. Stick with us on Behind Enemy Lines.
Independent music has always been about doing things your own way, not cutting corners, not chasing trends, and definitely not handing everything off to someone who doesn't care about the end result. That's where Hellbender Vinyl comes in. Hellbender Vinyl is Pittsburgh's first and only custom vinyl record pressing plant trusted by artists across the country. They work hands-on with independent musicians to make sure each release sounds right and feels right start to finish. Every project includes 5 free test presses, so quality isn't a guessing game, it's built right into the process. So, if you're serious about your music and how it's released, don't settle for disposable formats. Press it with Hellbender Vinyl. Hellbent on quality, hellbent on service, hellbendervinyl.com.
Playing the ball where it lies. Lucas and Dom are back on WSRR Radio.
Behind Enemy Lines is back for the final segment. We are brought to you by GenericClothes.com. Nobody cares about the details. Get to the point at GenericClothes.com. Don't sell out to big brand clothing empires and their prices. Make a statement at their expense with GenericClothes.com. Dom, we're almost there. It's been a long off season. There's been big trades. There's been a spectacular draft in Pittsburgh. We've had a lot of content to fill.
It's been a long summer.
I think we've done a pretty good job thus far this summer. I feel like this year
I think so too.
We had a little more to talk about than last year. I feel like last year we were dragging.
I think so too. We had to get creative last year. A lot of tier lists.
We were limping to the finish line last summer.
I mean, this year
we barely. This year we had like the World Cup. There was more to talk about.
The World Cup was huge. That's what I was gonna say. Having the World Cup to kind of break things up was massive, and then you had Conor McGregor returning, the UFC Freedom 250. There was stuff.
The White House event. Yeah.
There was definitely stuff this year to talk about. But yeah, we're getting to our bread and butter. It's about that time of year.
It's about time. It's about time where I can actually know what the hell I'm talking about.
Pretty much.
We got some preseason games. Got a couple more guys that we want to see this weekend and throughout the preseason that we're going to be talking about quickly here. The Vikings playing the Giants on Saturday, August 15th at 1:00. J.J. McCarthy, backup quarterback, as they named Kyler Murray the starter in Minnesota. So J.J. McCarthy's probably going to get some more preseason snaps because of that. Do you think he'll like he's got something to prove now, obviously? You think Nine's going to come out slinging it?
Well, yeah, it's interesting because he might be another guy who might be having a trade showcase, because I don't know why they'd really want to keep him. You got Kyler Murray, who's still fairly young, and then you still have Carson Wentz and Max Brosmer. Brosmer's pretty young. Carson Wentz is a veteran, so you've got what you need if you don't think J.J. McCarthy is the franchise guy. And if someone out there thinks he is, which I don't know what team would at this point. But if they do, and you can get something in return for him, then I think they would trade him. So yeah, for that reason, I think JJ would be slinging it.
Is anyone really gonna want JJ though? I mean, I think there's potential there. There's some potential. Why not? Like, you look over the league, there might be some teams that'll be like, we'll take a shot on him.
And it might be more like a mid-season trade when guys start going down, because it's just inevitable. Quarterback injuries are gonna happen. Someone will be desperate enough to have a guy who might be able to win some games. J.J. McCarthy has not looked good in the NFL, but he also has had some tough circumstances. I'd say a lot of injuries. I don't know. I think someone would give him a chance.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't a super big, pool to take from and like of snaps. Like, he still has, a lot of unseen potential. I think I don't anticipate it going anywhere. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a big JJ McCarthy supporter, but yeah, I think he could be, proving that he can play somewhere maybe this preseason.
Yeah.
Another preseason game, the Rams and the Chiefs. Ty Simpson going to be playing in this one for the Rams, possibly the heir apparent for Matt Stafford in LA. I'm curious, like, what the locker room looks like a little bit in LA, just because, like, I feel like after the draft, the story was like they took Ty Simpson in the first round. Like, Stafford didn't seem happy about it. McVay didn't seem happy about it. But then they go out, they get Myles Garrett. Aaron Donald's back now. I sent you a clip from a tweet of Aaron Donald, getting tied up with someone in the joint practice against the Cowboys. So it seems like, I mean, we haven't heard any like official news, but you said it last week, like he's been practicing with them. He was in the joint practice with them. Like, he worked out with them. It seems like Aaron Donald, like, all signs point to he's going to be playing this year for the Rams. Like, what's going on there?
Yeah. I mean, if you're doing all that, you'd think. But yeah, I don't know why he'd be waiting. Because if he did decide to sign now, like, he wouldn't have to play in preseason if he didn't want to.
No, there's no way they would make him play in the preseason.
Yeah, so
yeah,
I don't know. It's getting pretty close. I think that he has to, if he's going to do it, it has to be pretty soon. Can't wait too much longer.
Yeah, it's going to really stink for that like third or fourth D lineman, maybe fifth D lineman who's on the roster, who's like, a young guy who's like, I'm about to make a team and I'm about to make the Rams, who are a Super Bowl contender. And then it's like, oh, well, then Aaron Donald came back. Like, yeah, obviously they're going to cut me, or put me on the practice squad. But so you got to feel for someone. Someone's going to get bumped down the line, there in LA. But yeah, it seems like Aaron Donald's going to be playing there. So that'll be interesting. Also, hopefully, in that game, Garrett Nussmeier for the Chiefs, another rookie quarterback, going to be getting some NFL snaps here, the rookie from LSU. So another guy that'll be interesting to see. The last preseason game of the week is on Saturday at 8 p.m., the Cowboys versus the Seahawks. And this is a quarterback matchup that I think is fun to see and is a good game to watch. You got Joe Milton for the Cowboys, and you mentioned him off the air before starting for the Seahawks. But now I can't think of his name. Why am I Jaden Milroe? Jesus, there was two M's. There's two JMs there. It was really throwing me off. Jalen Milroe for the Seahawks. This could be a fun matchup. This could be a really fun preseason matchup.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Milroe. He's been a guy who, it's just weird. It's he wasn't amazing in college, but he definitely was a special type of player, like one of the fastest quarterbacks we've ever seen in a combine. And for that reason, he's going to be a threat. So it just depends on how they use him. Last year, he was always like that emergency third quarterback. So there wasn't really any chance for him to get in on any like special packages. This year, it's going to be, again, tough because you have Drew Lock, who's a solid backup. But Jalen Milroe, always good to see him in action just because he's a special type of quarterback. I'll be watching him.
Yeah, and Joe Milton, one of the biggest arms in the league from a backup quarterback. So he's always fun to see too. I'm interested. Like Milton is another guy who like I think could be like trade bait. Like after the preseason, like he's got such a big arm, he's got all the physical tools. Like even when he was in New England, like he had a couple of garbage time games and like preseason games where it was like he looks pretty good, honestly. So I could see he's another guy who I could see someone being like, yeah, like let's take a shot on Milton in mid-season, send them a 5th or a 6th rounder. Like you kind of don't have a ton to lose. I could definitely see Milton, making a name for himself too in the preseason. I'm kind of looking over the league right now. I'm not really sure who would do that. Maybe the Dolphins, maybe even the Jets, but
maybe Jets. Yeah, I don't see the Dolphins doing that just because of how big of a contract they gave.
Yeah, I was going to say Willis. They did give Malik Willis a bag.
And Milton's like, I've thought about that the last couple years. He's a guy who should, like, if a team needs a quarterback, he should be the top of the list, but he's just never been the guy that they call. I think the best chance for Milton, though, to show is if Dak Prescott misses some time, which is possible. Dak's definitely had that in the past in his career. So I think if Dak misses any time and Milton steps up, he could really show what he's got.
Yeah, I think he's a fun guy to watch. Like I think he's a guy who like it'll be like a boom or doom type quarterback.
Of course,
the Costco guys. Boom or bust type quarterback where it's like, yeah, he's going to throw the ball 75 yards down the field to someone. Whether or not that gets caught is, by the offense or the defense. Sometimes it's kind of a 50-50 chance. But he's fun to see. He's fun to watch. So I think I would like to see him get a chance somewhere. Like, why not?
Yeah, I've been stashing him in fantasy for a few years because it just seems like
I'm doing the same
you're
thing
holding
with
gold.
I'm doing the same.
Yeah,
thing with
Milroe too. I got Milroe on the taxi squad. Just the potential. The potential alone is exciting.
Yeah, I mean, how can it not be? Big arms, athletic guys. I mean, you look at Milroe's college tape. Like I saw a clip of him. I think it was Bama versus LSU the other day, and it's like he looks like a man amongst boys. Like he almost looks like Derrick Henry playing quarterback sometimes. Like he's just running through and by guys like at different angles on the field. And there's a couple games in college where like he just fully took over and put Alabama on his back and won the game by himself.
Yeah, his highlights are insane. The problem is his lowlights are some of the worst. Like really bad decisions. Yeah. It's just some really, really bad decision making in college. Yeah, I just don't know what to say. I'd like to see him get a chance, but there's some major things he needs to get worked out if he wants to be a quarterback in the NFL.
Another quarterback who we'll see some tomorrow on Thursday night. I didn't mention this when we talked about the Steelers game, but Kyle McCord is on the Packers now. Tyrod Taylor is listed as their backup, and he probably will be their quarterback too for much of the season. But like Kyle McCord is another guy who it's like, yeah, if he can show he can be a backup, it'll just be like, now we don't have to spend a draft pick in the next 3 or 4 years on a backup quarterback, as long as we trust Jordan Love and whatever. Like we won't have to worry about getting a backup if we trust Kyle McCord to play backup. I think that's really the biggest thing for like NFL front offices in the preseason, like looking at quarterback matchups, is just like, can this guy prove that he can just be in the room and operate the offense, and we don't have to worry about quarterback depth, knock on wood, in case our quarterback gets hurt. So I think that's another spot in the league that it's like, yeah, we might find our backup here. Let's see what happens in the preseason.
I could definitely see McCord being a long time NFL backup. He just seems like that type of guy. I don't think he's gonna have like much action, but he could be a guy like you said, he can just trust, depend on, Mr. Reliable.
There's a lot of those NFL guys where it's like, that guy was you look at their career earnings to play backup quarterback in the NFL, and every time they come in, they suck and like all these different things. And like, it's like, you know how much money that guy made to not play football and just be there and learn offenses and, really be the whisperer to the starting quarterback a lot of times. Like, I saw clips of like Mike Glennon the other day from when he was playing at NC State. And I was like, that, how much money that guy made, how many years Mike Glennon was in the NFL. It's a very interesting, like when you think about being an NFL player, you think about, trying to be a Pro Bowl guy and like doing all these things. It's crazy how many guys are in the league for like 10 years and like never really play and make millions of dollars.
Oh yeah. Especially quarterback though, because those are the guys who can stretch it out, make it like a 10, 12-year NFL career. And like you said, just make, close to like $50 million. Like I was looking at the guy I thought of was like Case Keenum. Case Keenum made almost $60 million in the NFL.
And how many years did he start? Like I know he started for the Vikings that one pretty much entire year, played for the Broncos for a good amount of time for like 1 year. He didn't really start that long at any team that he was at.
Yeah. He had 66 regular season starts across 14 seasons. The only seasons though he's really a starter was that 2017 Vikings team, where he made it to the NFC Championship game. But that wasn't, I don't think he didn't come in there. Who'd he replace?
Sam Bradford. I actually saw a clip of I was watching. Wow. I forget if it was on NFL Network or if it was just like a game that I pulled up on YouTube, but like Sam Bradford was the starter, and I was like, man, I forgot about Sam Bradford in Minnesota, and it was like the 4th or 5th game of the year, and then like halfway through that game, they started Keenum. Like Keenum started coming in, and I was like, wow, this is the year that they had the Minnesota Miracle, like against the Saints. Like Keenum didn't even start that year, like that's crazy, and he played great that season, but
he played good enough to be the starter and get the bag from the Broncos in 2018. Made 16 starts and went 6-10. That was like his last year being a primary starter. So he had like 1 to 2 years of being a starter, made $60 million.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome to see guys
nice.
like that. Now, of course, Case Keenum also like holds like NCAA records for passing touchdowns and yards and stuff at Houston. So it's not like he's some slouch, but
Colt
you
McCoy,
see these guys,
30 mil.
Colt McCoy got his jersey retired at Texas. Do you know that? No one wears 12 because Colt McCoy got his jersey retired. Isn't that wild?
That is pretty good. Who is Vince Young? Is his number retired?
Ooh, I don't know. That would be a good question. Texas Longhorns who have their jersey number retired, which I feel like I feel like college teams don't even do that very much.
Yeah, not really.
But
speaking of jersey retirements, Larry Fitzgerald, number 11, got retired by the Cardinals.
Wow. Earl Campbell, number 20. Vince Young, number 10. Colt McCoy, 12. Ricky Williams, 34. Tommy Nobis, 60. And Bobby Lane, number 22. Bobby the Night Train Lane are all of the retired numbers for Texas.
That's pretty good. Good group.
What a pull. What a pull on Colt McCoy, huh? It's not a bad one, huh? Give me some props, Tom.
All right, it was a good one, all right?
All right,
wasn't bad.
Thank you. And you guys are good for listening to Behind Enemy Lines right here on WSRR Radio. Join us next week. We break down some NFL preseason games. We love you. Have a great weekend.
Peace.
The preceding program was a sponsored production. The views, claims, and ideas expressed may not represent those of WSRR Radio.